Part 40. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 391. Is it? Fang Ye, I admit that you are very strong, but I want to tell you, can you beat me now that I have fused with Bengaiu? Aizen snorted coldly and said. Haha, don't be too arrogant. It's just the first state after merging with Bengaiu. If I wanted to, defeating you in this state would be a piece of cake. Fang Ye said with a sneer. Huh, don't talk nonsense. If you have any skills, just use them. Although Aizen is dismissive on the surface, he is actually very cautious about Fang Ye. Because the ability used by Fang Ye is completely different from the power of Death and Hollow, it can be said to be from another system, and he is very cautious about this system. Naturally, he knew very little about it. So he was sure that Fang Ye still had some tricks to beat the enemy, but this was just what he wanted. He also wanted to see how strong Bengaiu had transformed him. To be honest, he didn't even know how strong he was now. Have no idea. The devil comes to the world. Fang Ye directly used the skill Demon God comes to the world, and his form completely changed. He was 3 meters tall, and his arms were more than twice as thick. His whole body was filled with a violent aura, and his body was even longer. 6 huge wings emerged. This is the enhanced version that Fang Ye obtained after acquiring the skill of Demon God coming to the world. It can be said that the current skill is more powerful than the original. What is going on? Aizen was shocked looking at the existence in front of him that was completely different from human beings. He couldn't believe where this monster came from. Fang Ye's body now contains powerful power, even more than twice as strong as before. Aizen, you can feel that the current Fang Ye's strength is probably on par with his own. No. Maybe stronger. Ha 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 ha, do you still think you are my opponent now? Fang Ye asked with a smile. Humph. No matter how about it, with just that little ability, you will never be able to beat me. Aizen replied confidently. Aizen believed that the power of Bengaiu in his body was much more than that. He had a premonition that he would be in Bengaiu with the blessing, you will become stronger. Although Fang Ye is very strong now, he is not bad either. Ha 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 ha, you really overestimate your ability. Let me tell you, you can't compete with me now. The power. After saying that, Fang Ye directly waved his fist and hit Aizen. The unrivaled punch almost exuded extremely terrifying power, which made Aizen's face change greatly. Aizen immediately used his own energy to blow himself, wrapping it up, and then blocking the punch. Boom! A powerful explosion sounded. For a moment, the entire space seemed to be torn apart, and Fang Ye's attack force directly shattered a piece of the space. Poof! Aizen opened his mouth and spit blood. A piece of his chest was sunken, revealing a black hole. Aizen couldn't believe that this man could be so powerful. Haha, don't struggle anymore, I can tell you, what I have now, the power he possesses is far beyond your imagination. Fang Ye stood in the air, his black hair flying in the wind, and said proudly. This is his strongest form so far. It can be said that it is far beyond what he is now, just fused with Bengaiu and reached the first stage. Aizen. Haha, Fang Ye, I originally thought this world was boring, but I didn't expect you to be a surprise. It's really fun to play against you. Aizen chuckled. The injuries on his body healed quickly, and the black hole in his chest gradually healed and returned to its original state. Not only that, his form also changed. His body was wrapped in white solid spiritual pressure, and Bengaiu it also emerged from the body and was embedded in the chest. Its terrifying aura spread out and became a physical entity visible to the naked eye. This is my third form after merging with Bengaiu. I am afraid I have reached the peak of death or virtual power. Even those who are weak will explode and die if they cannot withstand my spiritual pressure. So are you still sure of winning? Aizen slowly raised his head and looked at Fang Ye, with a cruel smile on his face. Bang! Fang Ye almost didn't see how Aizen punched. He only saw that Aizen's fist was already aimed at him in an instant. Called over. So fast. His Byakugan can no longer capture Aizen's speed at all, and he can only see an afterimage of the Overlord Chi. The ultimate intention Kung Fu was released in an instant, and relying on the memory of his muscles, Fang Ye also punched out. Boom! The two forces collided with each other, and a burst of strong energy fluctuations suddenly broke out. The entire space seemed to be torn apart. Fang Ye's fist was slightly missed by Aizen, but the power of this punch was removed, and it successfully offset Aizen's attack. But Fang Ye also felt uncomfortable. Although he was now in the form of the devil, he was still knocked away. Haha! Your strength is pretty good. I thought you would be knocked away by my punch. Aizen mocked. He is confident now, because he knows that after merging with Bengaiwu, his power is now much stronger than before. And although Fang Ye is powerful now, after all, he has not condensed Bengaiwu now, and Aizen feels that he can be stronger. Haha, Aizen, I have to tell you, don't be too arrogant, be careful that you will die. Fang Ye said coldly. When Lan Ran heard this, he suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. Could it be that Fang Ye still hides any ulterior secrets now? Haha, then you should tell me, what kind of strength is still hidden? Aaron sneered. He wanted to anger Fang Ye and see what other moves Fang Ye could use. In his opinion, Fang Ye was now at the peak of his strength. Then I'll show you. Free ultimate intention Gong perfect ultimate intention. Fang Ye raised his head, his eyes almost emitting a dazzling silver light. His aura rose instantly, reaching the peak of power almost instantly. One punch. It only takes one punch to defeat you. Fang Ye said to Aizen with great confidence. Now he has almost completely mastered the ultimate freedom skill. You must know that this is a divine control skill. His attack power and defense power have doubled, and his own strength has also increased. Reached an extremely terrifying situation. This. Aizen was completely shocked. He did not expect that Fang Ye could reach such a point without relying on Bengaiwu. The terrifying aura emanating from Fang Ye's body now made his eyelids jump wildly when he saw it. Even when Fang Ye just said a punch, he didn't feel that he was talking big words. For a moment, Aizen tensed up and stared at Fang Ye with all his attention. He knew that the next moment would be a devastating blow. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 392. Boom. Fang Ye punched hard. This punch almost exceeded the speed of sound, sending out bursts of sonic booms. The power contained in the entire fist could almost penetrate the entire space. Super spiritual pressure wall. Aizen's eyes condensed, his eyes flashed with white light, and an invisible spiritual pressure wall suddenly formed around his body, immediately appearing in front of him. This is a defensive barrier formed by Aizen gathering all his spiritual power, and it can be an almost perfect defense. Withstand any attack. The powerful destructive power was instantly concentrated on the defensive barrier, and then the defensive barrier made bursts of shattering sounds. Aizen was surprised. When he looked up, he found that his defensive barrier was cracked. Opened, and the cracks continued to grow. Impossible. My strongest defensive skills can't withstand this punch. Aizen was shocked. But before he could use other skills, the defensive barrier shattered. He didn't even last 3 seconds. All the powerful destructive power hit Aizen's body and knocked him away. Out. Poof. Aizen spurted out a mouthful of blood, and he felt as if all the bones in his body were broken. No, what kind of power is this? Why can it destroy such a strong defense of mine? My body is already called the steel is strong, but it can still be broken? How did Fang Ye do it? How much has his strength improved? Aizen's mind was full of doubts. He really couldn't understand what Fang Ye was doing now. Will become so powerful. Aizen, you have already lost. Fang Ye said lightly. No, no, this is impossible. I have obviously fused with Bengaio, why would I still lose to you? Aizen has completely fallen into madness. He couldn't believe that he had fused Bengaio, and even reached the third stage, and was defeated. Ha 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 ha, although your strength is very strong, mine is even stronger. You can't beat me now? Fang Ye snorted and said. You. After Aizen heard this, he couldn't help but get angry. He spent all his efforts to prepare to destroy the Siriti with overwhelming force to get the person who was sealed. However, he didn't expect that Fang Ye would be killed. It was blocked. Click. Just when Aizen was about to stand up, his chest suddenly made a strange cracking sound. When he looked down, he found that the Bengaio originally embedded in his chest had broken. Impossible. Did he break Bengaio with that punch just now? Lan Ran was shocked. He didn't expect that Bengaio would be unable to withstand Fang Ye's punch and break into pieces. Then Aizen, today is your death day. Fang Ye knows that now is the best time. Without Bengaio, Aizen's own strength has been greatly reduced. Now he can kill Aizen with just one punch. He originally hoped to rely on the protagonist Kurosaki Ichigo, but it seems that there is no chance, there was no need for it. He focused his gaze and punched Aizen again. At this time, Aizen wanted to dodge, but it was already too late. He had already been seriously injured, and his broken jade was shattered. His strength has dropped by 70%. It can be said that he has no strength to move now. It's over, it seems that Aizen, will be defeated here. Aizen closed his eyes and waited for death. But at this moment, the space in front of Aizen suddenly seemed to be distorted, and then a person appeared in front of Aizen. Haha, Aizen. What did I say before? You will definitely fail this time, but you don't believe it? Believe it now. This man was wearing a red sacrificial robe with a strange mask on his face. He stretched out his hand and gently blocked Fang Ye's full punch. It's you. Didn't I tell you that you don't have to come? Aizen couldn't help but change his face when he saw the man in red. Although his tone was still a little angry, there was a hint of fear hidden in his eyes. Haha, if I don't come, you will die. This affects our plans greatly. The man in red chuckled. You are the agent of God. Fang Ye showed a trace of hatred on his face. He had killed many of them and had already formed a deep hatred. Haha, Fang Ye. I have paid attention to you for a long time. You are very strong and are exactly what our organization needs. If you want, I can recruit you into the organization. I know you have a close relationship with that general, but you have no idea how terrifying our organization's strength is. If you agree to me and join our Black Coffin organization, I can give you the position of bishop, which is more than one person can win over 10,000 people. Even the forbidden places we control can be open to you, how about it? The man in red said with a smile. Haha, you wanted to kill me before, and now you want to cooperate with me. Who would believe you? Fang Ye said with a cold snort. What I said is true. The man in red chuckled. Now you probably still don't understand, so I'll let you see my skills and let you understand. Psychic Blade. After saying that, the man in red stretched out his hand and used a blue blade. The blade instantly changed and formed 3 rays of sword light, which instantly slashed towards Fang Ye one after another. Fang Ye was taken aback. Although this move looked simple, it was extremely powerful and contained terrifying fluctuations. Even these 3 sword lights flew towards Fang Ye and locked onto Fang Ye in an instant. They could almost, it was said that Fang Ye could not avoid it. Fang Ye immediately used the self-extreme intention kung fu, and he punched 3 times in a row. This was with all his strength, and it was as strong as the punch that defeated Aizen just now. I saw the three fist seals and the three sword lights collided in mid-air, and the huge impact made Fang Ye take 2 steps back. When the dust gradually dispersed, Fang Ye couldn't help but shrink his pupils. The man in red was still there standing still, not even swaying. Haha, now you understand, my power is greater than yours now. My suggestion is that you imagine it carefully. I hope that when I see you again, you will give me a satisfactory answer. By the way, remember my name from now on, I am Karen, one of the 7 cardinals who are agents of God. If you don't agree to join next time, don't blame me for being rude. After saying that, the man in red tore the void casually and left with Aizen. The virtual group and 10 blades that Aizen took with him escaped into the void and retreated. Fang Ye looked at the back of the man in red as he left. With a gloomy and terrifying expression. Psychic blade. If he guessed correctly, the power possessed by the man in black probably comes from the mage profession of Diablo. They actually control the forbidden land of Diablo. And it is said that in Diablo among the gods, only the Nephilim's physique can master these secret techniques. No wonder they are so strong, no wonder Wywak is no match for him. If he had truly mastered the Nephilim's mage skills, he would probably be invincible in the world of death. What a tough opponent. I have to say, I'm starting to get excited. Fang Ye licked his lips, with an excited look on his face. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 393. Although Fang Ye is slightly at a disadvantage this time, his current state of the demon god is only at the elementary level. Originally he could upgrade, but since upgrading required a lot of energy and was still uncertain, Fang Ye had been delaying it. But when the last moment comes, he will naturally go all out for promotion. By then, let alone the Red Bishop, I'm afraid there will be no match for anyone else. Although this battle did not kill Aizen, it also defeated his conspiracy, and it can be said to be a staged victory. Fang Ye thought so. Yuan Liuzai, who was on the side, slowly walked over. He sighed and said, Fang Ye, I'm very sorry for our misunderstanding of you before. I'm sorry. Fang Ye turned around and looked at the person who had been talking to him. Yuan Liuzai, who is known for his toughness, would actually say such a thing, which made him sit up and take notice. Don't look at me like this. After all, I have lived for thousands of years. I still understand that a man must correct his mistakes when he realizes them. Yuan Liuzai smiled and said. How about it? Why don't you stay in Soul Society for a while? I happen to have some questions that I want to communicate with you. Fang Ye nodded. He knew that Yuan Liuzai wanted to ask about the agent of the gods. Okay, then it's better to be respectful than to obey. Fang Ye actually plans to live in Soul Society for a while. He wants to consult about the power of the Shinigami. After all, that's why he came here. In this way, Fang Ye, Kurosaki Ichigo and the others are in the Seirai stayed. Although the Shinigami of the Soul Society fought a battle with the 10 Blades and the Hollows led by Aizen, the battlefield was outside the Seirai. Therefore, the Seirai was not affected. Kurosaki Ichigo and Renji Abarai became good friends, and the two continued to discuss each other. Rukia Kukiki was also exempted from the crime and resumed her original position. Shimanzi and Oriumanu became good friends who talked about everything. This was mainly due to Scumanza's deliberate approach. Because very simply, she noticed that Fang Ye was very concerned about Kurosaki Ichigo and Inu Orium, so she naturally judged that these two people were the key to this forbidden area. Because Kurosaki Ichigo Saki always stayed with Renji Abarai to learn sword skills, and she didn't want to make Fang Ye unhappy, so she didn't get close to Ichigo Kurosaki, but instead established a good relationship with Orochimaru. Fangya is simple. He hangs out with the bad old man Yuen Liuzai every day. On the one hand, he discusses the power of death, and on the other hand, he prepares for the next war. Yes, he thinks that the agent of the gods will definitely not do this. Give up. So he wanted to accumulate strength to prevent accidents. On this day, Fangya came to Yuen Liuzai's residence again to discuss the power of death. Yuen Liuzai had a good sense of Fangya and basically knew everything. Endless. And he also knows that Soul Society now relies entirely on this outsider. If it weren't for this outsider, it would have been broken by Aizen. So that's it? After a long exchange, Fangya seemed to understand something. The power of the god of death. It turns out that the power of the god of death comes from the spiritual power born from the soul. Generally speaking, the higher the density, the stronger the power. Moreover, this kind of spiritual power is born with it, and some ordinary people cannot be born with spiritual power at all. Also, some Shinigami also emit spiritual pressure. This power can be understood as the fluctuations of spiritual power. After some Shinigami release spiritual power, the powerful spiritual pressure can even knock the opponent to the ground and prevent him from getting up. It's a bit like the domineering power of the Pirate King. What made Fangya happy was that Yuen Liuzai told him that he found that Fangya also contains spiritual power, but Fangya had not inspired it. If Fangya wants to obtain the power of the god of death, then spiritual power must be stimulated. Generally speaking, there are two ways to stimulate spiritual power. One is to use some kung fu to activate it automatically, and the other is to have external stimulation. For example, Kurosaki Ichigo got Kukakiro with Kia's ability, she gained the power of death. Yuen Liuzai also said that Fangya's understanding and ability are very strong. If he concentrates on cultivating, he will be able to naturally stimulate his spiritual power. Fangya also asked Genri Yusai asked whether his power of death could be stimulated externally, but Genri Yusai shook his head and refused. Because if the power of death was stimulated externally, it would be regarded as a part of the Soul Society and needs to be protected in this life. Soul Society. Genri Yusai saw that Fangya was destined to leave Soul Society, so he rejected an offer. Fangya had no choice but to sigh and try to stimulate spiritual power on his own. A month passed quickly, and Fangya gradually developed an eye for stimulating spiritual power. Just when Fangya was about to break through, Shimanzu ran over in a panic and told him a shocking news. Fangya, it's not good. Xiao and Hinta secretly ran to the virtual world to find Urahara Kisuke. What? Fangya was surprised. It turned out that during the last battle, Hinta and Xiao discovered that although there was a person in the 10 Blades wearing a mask, he looked very much like Urahara Kisuke. So after the battle, they decided to go to Hueco Mundo, to find out. They also knew that the adults would definitely not allow them to go, so they secretly went to Hueco Mundo. But their whereabouts were known to Kurosaki Ichigo, and Kurosaki Ichigo and Chidori also entered Hueco Mundo. Went to look for Hinta, Xiao, and the others. What a nonsense! How could this be? Fangya couldn't help but said angrily. The others were fine, but Ichigo Kurosaki must not make any mistakes. You must know that he is the key to final victory. If he fails to defeat Aizen who comes again or is still hiding in the dark Wiwak, then the burden of victory can only fall on the shoulders of Kurosaki Ichigo. But Kurosaki Ichigo has entered Hueco Mundo. If he is targeted by the god's agents or Aizen, I am afraid that Fangya's plan it's all in vain. No, I have to go to Hueco Mundo too. Thinking of this, Fangya couldn't help but sigh. It seems that although he has arrived in the 9th Forbidden Land, the world is still going on according to the previous plot. This is the general trend. And when Shumanzi heard that Fangya was going, she was not willing to do it. Showing weakness, he said that he wanted to follow, but was rejected by Fang Ye. The current Shumanzi is actually not strong, just a little better than the average Shinigami. Hueco Mundo is very dangerous, and he does not want Shumanzi to be harmed. After all, the Shumanzi family is still very powerful, and although Shumanzi has a deep intention to approach him, after getting along with him for a long time, he also understands that Shumanzi is actually a kind-hearted child. It's just that the family environment has affected him. It's just her. Seeing Fang Ye's firm attitude, Shumanzi couldn't help but sigh. I understand, then you promise me to come back safely. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 394. Don't worry, I promise you. Fang Ye nodded. He has made great progress in studying the power of death. He believes that it will not be long before he can deconstruct it. In this way, he can arm wrestle with the Red Bishop. Although entering there are some risks in Hueco Mundo, but Kurosaki Ichigo cannot afford to lose anything. The environment in Hueco Mundo is different from Soul Society. It is night here all day long and there is a deserted land everywhere. Although this is the birthplace of Su, it is very big. Even if a person walks here for a long time, he may not encounter a Su. Moreover, this is Aizen's base camp, so Fang Ye needs to be careful. Fang Ye used his overbearing energy to capture Kurosaki Ichigo's aura. It's so far away, more than 100 miles away. Fang Ye frowned. It seems we need to find Kurosaki Ichigo earlier. Thinking of this, Fang Ye once again used his ability without hesitation. He saw that his speed was extremely fast, and he chased Kurosaki Ichigo like a bolt of lightning. Just half an hour later, Fang Ye came to a place while walking through the strange stone forest. Suddenly a child's cry for help came from the front. There are even children. Fang Ye was slightly surprised. He hurriedly looked carefully and saw a child with lake green hair wearing an arankar and running away while crying. There were 3 or 4 Degzu chasing him behind him. Peshi, Dondo Chaka. You are all there. Wow woo woo. After Fang Ye saw it, he couldn't help but be startled. Isn't this Nilu? How come she is here? In the Bleach manga, Nilu met Ichigo Kurosaki and followed him to Kyoya Palace. Could it be said that Kurosaki Ichigo missed Nilu? Alas, I thought that although the plot was on track in some way, the specific things were all messed up. But after thinking about it, this is not bad. Nilu is the 3rd among the top 10 blades. She is very powerful. Although she suffered serious injuries, lost her memory, and her body became the size of a child. But with careful treatment, she can naturally regain her strength. In this way, he can also serve as Fang Ye's helper. After all, he is now at Aizen's base camp, and there are agents of gods hidden in the dark behind him. So it is good to have one more helper. And now Kurosaki Ichigo's aura, it also became as if nothing existed, and he lost his breath several times. Fang Ye probably thought it was because Kurosaki Ichigo was about to arrive at Sui Palace. But the problem was that Fang Ye didn't know where Sui Palace was. Now he happened to meet Nilu. It would be best if Nilu could guide him. Thinking of this, he immediately stepped forward to protect Nilu, who was still a child. Although the 3 or 4 Degzu chasing Nilu, he is powerful, but for Fang Ye, it means he can crush it to death with just one finger. Bang 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 bang. Fang Ye punched continuously, blasting the Degzu in an instant and saving Nilu. Wow, big brother, you are so awesome. Nilu covered her mouth with her hands, flashed her big eyes, and said in surprise. Haha, this is nothing. Do you know where Sui Palace is? Fang Ye asked. Nilu knows, but there are many bad people there. Why does the eldest brother go to Sui Palace? Nilu asked doubtfully. Oh, Big Brother's friend strayed into the bad guy's territory, so Big Brother is ready to rescue his friend. Fanya tried to answer in words that children can understand. Oh, Nilu understands. Big brother is really a good person. Big brother just saved me. Nilu wants to help big brother fight the bad guys. Nilu knew there was a shortcut to Sui Palace. Nilu looked at Fanya with admiration. Seeing such innocent and clear eyes, Fanya couldn't help but reach out and touch Nilu's head. Nilu is so good, don't worry, big brother is very strong. Nilu takes her eldest brother to Sui Palace, I will protect Nilu. Well, Nilu believes in big brother. Nilu nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. Then she asked curiously, brother, what's your name? My name is Fanya. Fanya said truthfully. Fanya, Fanya, big brother, your name sounds so nice. Nilu recited it several times, raised her head, and smiled as brightly as a flower. So cute, what a nice view. For a moment, Fanya looked a little stunned. Along the way, Nilu ran happily like a child. Sometimes she ran to the front, and sometimes she followed Fanya and looked at him curiously. Big brother, ahead is the wilderness of misery, and passing through here is Sui Palace, but there will be many Degzu wandering around here. Big brother, be careful. Nilu said, pointing to the wilderness in front of her. Fanya nodded. He clearly felt that there was a lot of Degzu in this wilderness. But this was nothing to Fanya, and Fanya even had some thoughts. He's eager to give it a try. After all, he hasn't had a fight in the past month, and his hands are really itchy now. Well, Nilu stays here obediently, while big brother goes to destroy these Degzu and will be back soon. Fanya touched Nilu's little head and warned. Okay, big brother, be careful. Nilu nodded obediently and said. Rest assured. Fanya showed a smile, gave Nilu an okay gesture, and then rushed towards the field of misery. His speed was extremely fast, just like a bolt of lightning traveling very fast here. Generally speaking, in Hueco Mundo there are 3 levels of hollows in total. The most common one is Killian. Most of them are larger in size, have black outer bodies, and have white masks. These hollows are basically formed by swallowing the same kind. In Hueco Mundo, the higher level is Yakukas, which was formed by Killian swallowing other people of the same kind. The great voids at this level have different abilities and shapes, and the top ones will turn into human forms. And most of the 10 blades, they are all the top Ashokas. In this wilderness of suffering, Fanya clearly felt that there were nearly 7 or 8 Ashokas. They did not take the form of humans, so their power was a little less than that of the 10 blades. But Fanya felt that it turns out that there is a more advanced hollow in this misery wilderness. That is the highest level of Vastad in the Great Hollow. It is said that the hollow with this ability has reached the pinnacle of hollow, and its strength is even higher than that of Captain Death. Generally speaking, there are only a few in Hueco Mundo, but there is one in this wilderness of suffering. But Fanya can detect that this Vastad seems to be sleeping under the wilderness of suffering. It seems that he does not disturb it, he would not wake up. It was also because this place was very dangerous that Fanya did not bring Nilu in. After all, Nilu took the risk to enter Sui Palace for herself. You must know that she has an enemy in Sui Palace. Under normal circumstances, Nilu rarely comes close to Sui Palace. The aura locked onto 9 Ashokas, well, there was actually one more. Haha, but it doesn't matter, their strength is close to Ikagenmaru's level. It was originally planned to take 8 seconds to resolve the battle, but it looks like it will be extended by 1 second. Fanya looked at the 9 figures walking in the wilderness and said with a sneer. Dimensional chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 395. In the wilderness, he shuttled quickly and instantly targeted a Yakukas. This Achiukas was walking aimlessly, but the next second it only felt its eyes blink, and saw a fist coming, and then it disappeared without a trace. Fang Ye looked at Yakukaze, who fell to the ground, his head shattered like a rotten watermelon, with a satisfied smile on his face. Sure enough, his strength has increased a lot, and it only takes an ordinary punch to deal with these Ashokas. Next is the second one. Fang Ye instantly recognized the direction and rushed towards the second Ashokas. The second one seemed to be aware of the danger, but before it could see it clearly, it was blown away by Fang Ye with the same punch. Then Fang Ye went to find the third Yakukaze. He also understood it with a simple punch. Next came the fourth one, fifth. When the ninth Achiukaze fell to the ground, Fang Ye breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at the time and saw that there were less than 8 seconds in total. Faster than I expected. It seems that my strength has indeed improved a lot, even beyond my expectation. Fang Ye nodded. He did not alert Vastad, who was under the wilderness. Although it was a little more troublesome for him to deal with Vastad, what he wanted was to quickly cross the wilderness and go to Sui Palace, and he didn't want to waste his time here. So he took care of the 9 Achiukaze and immediately returned to look for Nilu. Fang Ye was a little strange. He remembered that Nilu was here just now. Why did she suddenly disappear? He looked around, but he still didn't find Nilu. Was it an accident? Fang Ye frowned and felt that he could use his ability to check carefully. Seeing and hearing is so domineering. He closed his eyes and carefully explored the surrounding atmosphere. Found. On the left. Why is there another person? It's like that person is hunting down Nilu. Thinking of this, Fang Ye's face couldn't help but change. At this moment, he could clearly feel that Nilu was a little panicked and seemed to be afraid of that person. He couldn't help but feel a little angry. You know how cute Nilu was, who could have done it so cruelly? Could it be an omission? Lost Ashokas? Thinking of this, Fang Ye immediately stepped forward and chased after him. Found it? Fang Ye only needed more than 10 seconds to catch up with Nilu. Only then did he realize that the person chasing Nilu was not Achiukaze at all, but one of Aizen's 10 blades, Noi Terra Gilga. It turned out to be him. I forgot about that. Fang Ye stopped in front of Neutra and frowned slightly. Neutra is the 5th among the 10 blades of Aizen. Bangayo transformed Su into an Arankar. He was arrogant, liked to ridicule, and hated women. Before, Nilu had a higher status than him, so he was jealous and attacked Nilu. He also caused Nilu to be seriously injured. The culprit. Unexpectedly, Nilu was seriously injured and escaped from Sui Palace. This guy still refused to give up and insisted on killing Nilu. Haha, I thought it was you, but I didn't expect it to be you. Boy, I remember you, you are strong. Even our leader Aizen is no match for you. Nitra was startled when she saw Fang Ye, and then a happy smile appeared on her face. Just in time to meet me. As long as I kill you, it will prove that I am stronger than Aizen. His eyes were full of desire to fight, and the Zanpakuto he held in his hand also exuded amazing spiritual power. Big brother. Nilu tugged on Fang Ye's clothes in fear. Don't worry, as long as I'm here, he can't hurt anyone. Fang Ye chuckled and said, Nitra, are you okay with your mind? Even your leader, Aizen, who is fused with the Third Order Bangayo, is no match for me. Do you think you can defeat me? I really don't know how high the sky is and how high it is. After hearing this, Neutra laughed and said, Fang Ye, do you think I am still 10 blades? Let me tell you, I have actually surpassed my original strength and reached a terrifying level, thanks to the God's Agent organization. Now I have almost surpassed Aizen. If you don't believe it, you can try it. After Fang Ye heard about the Agent of the Gods, he couldn't help but be surprised. Then he took a closer look at Neutra in front of him. Sure enough, the power in his body was extremely strange and powerful. although it couldn't be judged from the appearance. His true strength is almost the same as the previous Aizen aura. However, Fanya always feels that something is wrong with Neutra's body. But he doesn't know what is wrong. Maybe you don't know my strength yet, so let me show it to you. After saying that, Neutra laughed wildly and slashed his Zanpakuto crescent scythe towards Fanya. A blade of light containing a powerful aura of destruction appeared instantly, locking Fanya's position almost immediately. After Fanya saw it, he couldn't help but his face darkened. Indeed, the original Neutra should not have been so strong. I don't know what method the agent of the gods used to make him so strong. On the basis of it, the ability has been increased dozens of times. I originally thought that I could easily deal with the opponent, but it seems I have to take it a little more seriously. Fanya shattered the sword light with one punch. He turned his head and said softly to Nilu, Nilu, be good. You go and play for a while. Big brother will deal with him within 30 seconds and then come to find you. Nilu knew that she was also a burden here. She nodded and said to Fanya, brother, be careful. Nilu is waiting for you. After saying that, Nilu ran towards her with short legs. In her opinion, her eldest brother Fanya was invincible. Although that Neutra was an extremely terrifying existence to her, but if you have a big brother, nothing will be a problem. Haha, do you want to protect her? It's a pity that you can't even protect yourself. After Neutra laughed and said it, he slashed at Fanya again. This time it was faster and more powerful than the last time. Fanya directly used his Byakugan. At this moment, his Byakugan was even stronger. Almost in an instant, he saw through the flaw in Neutra's moves. After dodging sideways, he punched Neutra in the chest. He saw that Neutra did not dodge, and after being hit, nothing happened at all. He was still standing in place. Not only that, a pair of dark hands stretched out from his chest and grabbed Fanya's wrist tightly. What's this? Fanya was slightly surprised. He could clearly feel that these hands were smooth and cold, almost containing crazy and violent strange power. This is a gift given to me by the agent of God. With this power, I can become stronger and even surpass you and Aizen. Neutra said with a crazy laugh. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 396. Why is this power so weird? What did you pay for this power? Fanya frowned. It was obvious that this powerful force did not originate from Neutra itself, but from other places. What did it cost? Haha, everything. Neutra continued to laugh crazily. He was almost losing his mind with his crazy look, but his desire for battle made him act involuntarily and instinctively. There were no tricks or excessive waste of spiritual power, but it was very simple. An effective slash. But although it was very simple, it was full of destructive power. Fanya frowned, and he clearly felt that Neutra was gradually becoming crazy as he continued to use that power. I'm afraid that in the end he will completely lose his mind and turn into a pure fighting machine. The crescent-shaped sickle slashed towards Fanya, and this powerful force involuntarily made Fanya push back a step. But Neutra laughing loudly. Haha! You took a step back. It seems that you are no longer my opponent. I am extremely powerful now, stronger than anyone else. After saying that, Neutra raised the soul-cutting sword high again and struck it towards Fanya. But Fanya calmly dodged the attack. Haha, do you think you can defeat me with this power? It's really funny, it seems you know nothing about true power. Fanya said lightly. Forget it, let you know the difference between us. After saying that, Fanya suddenly opened his eyes and punched forward. This punch was extremely fast and contained the power to destroy all things. The pressure of this force even made the surrounding space slightly distorted. What power is this? This power is terrible. Looking at this punch, the expression on Neutra's face became more and more shocked. The power of this power has exceeded his knowledge. He originally thought that he would be invincible after being planted with the evil god seed by the agent of the gods, but he didn't expect that Fang Ye would still be so strong. However, it would be a big mistake to think that Neutra is just that. Neutra roared, raised his soul-cutting sword high, and slashed at Fang Ye again. His speed and power were 3 points stronger than before. Rumble. Amidst the loud noise, Fang Ye's fist collided with Neutra's soul-killing sword. Ah! Neutra's scream sounded. Bang! Neutra's body was knocked away directly. His hands were tightly covering his right shoulder, and blood was flowing continuously, dripping down his left hand and falling to the ground. My body hurts so much. This is not real. This must not be real. I have the power of the evil god, why would I still lose to you? How can this be? Neutra roared crazily, his eyes were red, and his body was constantly heaving. The power of the evil god. Fang Ye frowned, this was the first time he heard this word. Could it be that the agent of the gods is related to the evil god? While he was thinking, he suddenly noticed that Neutra's body had changed. His eyes were getting redder and redder, and his body gradually swelled. Then 2 pairs of black arms grew on both sides of his body. This is... Fang Ye was taken aback. He clearly felt that Neutra had become extremely strange, and the aura on his body became more and more terrifying. No. I cannot be reconciled. Neutra roared, his arms suddenly stretched out, and then he rushed towards Fang Ye. Fang Ye snorted coldly, and moved quickly to avoid Neutra's attack. Bang! Neutra slammed to the ground, throwing up a cloud of dust. Neutra struggled to stand up. The wounds on his body began to heal, and those wounds were also recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. This situation surprised Fang Ye. You can't kill me no matter what. Even if I become like this, I will still be the strongest. Ha 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 ha. Neutra smiled wildly. Fang Ye frowned. He knew that this guy was about to fall into madness. If he continued to change, he would completely turn into a killing monster. It looks like we have to stop him properly. Fang Ye's eyes narrowed, and he immediately used his special move, a serious punch. With the addition of Saitama's physique, the power of this punch reached a very exaggerated level. Just one punch is enough to destroy any mountain. Haha, you want to hit me? It's not that easy. Neutra laughed wildly. He immediately wanted to avoid it, but he didn't know what happened. When he was avoiding it, his body suddenly stopped. It was this moment that immediately caused him to suffer Fang Ye's serious blow. Punch. Bang. Neutra was knocked away again, but his body did not stop. Instead, he kept rolling in the air and finally stopped. Wow. Neutra spat out a mouthful of blood again, and his body became visibly sluggish. How can it be? I have the power of the evil god, why would I still lose at your hands? Why? It's simple, I'm better than you. Fang Ye came over and said calmly. Do you think this evil god's power is a good thing? It's draining your life force rapidly. While you are getting stronger, your vitality is also passing away quickly. Why do you think you didn't block my punch just now? That's because your body is gradually aging and can no longer keep up with my speed. The thing you accepted has very strong side effects. After hearing this, Neutra couldn't help but look ashen. Yes, his body is aging rapidly, and he can even feel it now. Turn out to be. It turns out I was deceived. Damn the agent of God. Damn the Red Cardinal. Are you actually doing experiments on me? I'm not willing to give in. Neutra shouted desperately, but it was of no use. his body gradually fell down, and his eyes were wide open even after he died. Well. Fang Ye sighed. In fact, he already understood. I'm afraid the Red Bishop is using these 10 blades to do some shameful experiments. And Neutra is the first test subject. Although he obtained powerful power in a short period of time, strength, but it also quickly consumed his own vitality. That's why Fang Ye could defeat Neutra so easily. But this is just an experimental product that has not succeeded. If it succeeds, I'm afraid it won't be so easy to deal with. Fang Ye sipped. He pursed his lips and looked very gloomy. The seed of the evil god. What is the divine agent planning? They actually used the 10 blades to create powerful warriors. What on earth did they want to do? A series of questions lingered in Fang Ye's mind. He took a deep look at Sui Palace in the distance and became worried about Kurosaki Ichigo, who had broken into it. Kurosaki Ichigo's growth was too slow, but the enemy getting stronger every day. This is really a bad thing. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 397. After dealing with Neutra, Fang Ye took Nilu and continued on the road. Now we are very close to Sui Palace, and it seems that it won't be long before we can see Ichigo Kurosaki. Thinking of this, Fang Ye was a little worried. Although he didn't know what the god's agents were planning, looking at Neutra's appearance, I'm afraid they were planning something big here. We still have to find Kurosaki Ichigo first. Fang Ye pondered secretly. At this time, he suddenly felt a familiar breath in front of him. It seems like a T-crossing. Fang Ye hurried up, and after a while, he saw the dying Chadu. At this time, he was seriously injured, with knife wounds everywhere on his body, and his giant right arm had been shattered into pieces, and his left arm was completely broken. Broken, it seems like it was torn off by someone. T-crossing. T-crossing. Fang Ye took advantage of his eyes and hurriedly clicked on a few acupuncture points of Zongchadu. This was when he slowly woke up. Fang Ye. It's you. Quick, save Kurosaki Ichigo. When Chadu saw Fang Ye, he immediately shouted excitedly. As he spoke, he spit out another mouthful of blood. Apparently the blood was the residue from the wound, but when he saw Fang Ye, he also breathed a sigh of relief. How did you become like this? Seeing Chadu's appearance, Fang Ye asked heartbrokenly. Chadu's injuries were so serious that he had reached the point where he was running out of gas and energy. If Fang Ye hadn't been here, he might have died long ago. Hearing Fang Ye's inquiry, Sadat smiled bitterly and said, "It's Aizen's 10 blades, one of them was named Balagang, and he captured Kurosaki Ichigo, I can't beat him." Ahem. Before Chado could say a few words, he vomited out another mouthful of blood. It turned out that while chasing Hinta and Xiao this time, they encountered the obstruction of Ulquira and Balagang from the 10 blades, and their strength was simply beyond his and Kurosaki Ichigo's expectations. There was a big battle in the end, and Kurosaki Ichigo was captured to protect him, and he was preparing to return to Soul Society to invite reinforcements. It's just that he was seriously injured, so he fell here. Fang Ye, I'm afraid I'm on my last legs. You'd better hurry up and save Kurosaki Ichigo. Chadu begged Fang Ye and said. No. How could I abandon you? Fang Ye immediately refused. He looked at Chadu's injuries carefully and couldn't help but frown. It was obvious that Chadu's body was corroded by the residual power of the evil god. I'm afraid he would be unable to withstand it before long. The body exploded and died. It must be treated as soon as possible. Fang Ye thought of this and turned to look at Nilu. He vaguely remembered that Nilu had used healing skills in the plot, so he hurriedly asked Nilu, "Can you treat him?" Nilu looked at Chadu and nodded vigorously. "Brother, although this brother is seriously injured, Nilu can treat him." "That's good, please treat him." Fang Ye was overjoyed. Nilu nodded vigorously. She knelt in front of Chadu, put her hand on Chadu's chest, and then closed her eyes. Her hands radiated a soft light, which gradually enveloped Chadu. His whole body was wrapped around him. Fangye waited quietly, not daring to disturb Nilu. As a warm current spread from Nilu's palm into Chadu's body began to slowly return to life. After a moment, Chadu's body began to regain its vitality. After that, Chado's face gradually turned rosy. Fangye watched the change in Chado's expression and felt slightly reassured. Nilu, your healing effect is really amazing. Fangye praised. He. This is Nilu's talent. Brother, please don't praise Nilu. Nilu smiled happily. After a while, Chado's injury was completely healed, but his mutilated arm could not be treated by Nilu. Unfortunately, Inu Orium still didn't realize the shield and shun 6 flowers, otherwise Chad's arm would be able to recover quickly. Fangye shook his head slightly. Seeing that Chad had almost recovered, he made a decision in his heart. Chadatari, please take Niru back to Soul Society to ask for reinforcements. I will go to Kyoya Palace to rescue Kurosaki Ichigo. What? It's very dangerous there. I don't know what was done to those 10 blades. Their strength is terrifying. This is too dangerous. Chadu was surprised and hurriedly persuaded. No, I have thought about it carefully. Now is a special period, and only I can save Kurosaki Ichigo. So I have to go. Fangye said resolutely. He knew that now it was not only Kurosaki Ichigo's life, but also the rise and fall of the entire Soul Society. If this mission failed, it would be a complete loss. Soul Society was ruined in this incident, and he couldn't take risks. Big brother. Nila couldn't help but become anxious when she heard that Fangye insisted on going to Sui Palace to save people. Don't worry, the elder brother is very strong, and he still has a lot of trump cards that he hasn't revealed yet. Even if he can't save Ichigo Kurosaki, there is no problem in escaping. Fangye touched Nilu's head and said with a smile. But Nilu thought about it, but was stopped by Chadu. Little girl, let Fangye do it. If even Fangye can't do it, then I can't think of anyone who can do it. You and I will return to Soul Society together to request reinforcements. Arriving earlier can also help Fangye. Chadu had seen Fangye's ability during the war in Soul Society. The terrifying power that destroyed the world and overwhelmed everything was still fresh in his memory. If Fangye can't save Kurosaki Ichigo, I'm afraid he can't think of anyone else who can do it. When Nilu heard these words, she could only sigh. Fangye nodded to the two of them, then turned around and flew towards Sui Palace. In the air, his eyes released a surging fighting spirit. He knew that he would definitely experience a hard battle this time when he entered Sui Palace alone. After all, except for Neutra, I am afraid that the other 9 blades have already completed the parasitism of the evil god seed. And there might be Urahara Kisuke among them. Red Bishop. He chanted the name silently in his mind. Fangye will never forget this name. He must kill this culprit with his own hands. In his eyes, the agents of gods are a group of extremists. Although he doesn't know what they are planning, it is definitely not a good thing. So Fangye decided to catch the Red Bishop in this 9th forbidden area and personally ask what their divine agent was planning. Fangye thought to himself, at this time he had arrived at the entrance of Sui Palace. And there are already 2 people waiting for him here for a long time. Haha, Fangye, you were the one who killed that idiot Neutra before, right? Tisk tisk, yes, it can kill him easily. But if you break into Sui Palace alone, do you think you don't take our 10 blades seriously? You know we are no better than before. The person who spoke was a man wearing a white robe. This was none other than Saiaranilo, the 9th of the 10 blades. Dimensional chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mung Bean Garden. Chapter 398. Haha, kill him. Kill him. Beside Aranillo, there was an extremely huge man standing. This was the 10th member of the 10 Blades, Yami Realgo. But Fangya knew that Yami was not only the 10th member of the 10 Blades, the 10th seed was still the hidden Zeroth seed. Fangya frowned and looked at the two people. He saw that these two people exuded the power of the evil god, which was stronger than the Neutra he had killed before. Be strong. Yami. Don't do it. Let me play with this guy. Aranillo held the soul-cutting knife in his hand and slowly walked down the steps. He looked at Fangya with fighting intent in his eyes. Only you? I think you should go together. Fangya said with a sneer. Although they already possess the power of the evil god, in Fangya's opinion, their strength is still far from his own. Arrogant. Aranillo sneered, and raised his soul-cutting knife and slashed at Fangya. Fangya's eyes narrowed, and he immediately dodged. I saw the spiritual power on the soul-cutting knife turned into a cold light, and fell on the big body instantly. A deep and invisible ravine was cut directly on the ground. Is this guy so powerful? The power of this evil god is really weird. Fangya thought in his mind, and he immediately punched Aranillo. This time he used the fire power, and his fist was instantly wrapped in a blazing flame. The temperature was so high that it could melt everything around him. After seeing it, Aranillo couldn't help but feel his heart skip a beat. He clearly felt that there was terror and power in it. If he was hit, he would probably be seriously injured even if he didn't die. So he hurriedly evaded. But how could Fangya be so easy to let go? Him. I saw him take one step forward and appear in front of Aranillo again, then he raised his foot and kicked him hard. Dong 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 dong. Only a few muffled sounds were heard, and Aranillo was actually kicked by Fangya kicked out. He hit the wall hard and fell to the ground. You, how could you still be so powerful? I have the power of the evil god. Aranillo looked at Fangya in horror. He has never seen such powerful martial arts. Fangya snorted coldly and did not answer his words. I saw his figure flashing and appearing in front of Aranillo again. You. Don't come near me. Aranillo couldn't help shouting when he saw this. He saw a strong murderous aura in Fangya's eyes, and there seemed to be a strong domineering wave around him, which made him feel fear. What skill is this? Aranillo kept moving back, but behind him was the cold and hard wall, making it impossible to retreat. Bang 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 bang. As soon as Aranillo retreated to a corner, he was kicked several times by Fangya. Bang. This last time, Aranillo was kicked into the air and his chest was sunken. Fangya looked at Aranillo, who had lost his human form, and couldn't help but frown. Aranillo is still alive? Just now, he used a series of ordinary punches, overlord color domineering, fire powers and other skills. Alonaro has been beaten into a human form, but he didn't expect that he is still alive, and he seems to be stronger than before. How can it be? Fangya was secretly surprised. It hurts. You are so powerful. Aranillo stood up slowly, raised his head, and revealed his strange face. One side of his face was frightened, and the other side was fearless. Such completely different expressions on the same face, this let Fangya frown secretly. I'm so scared, it's too strong, I'm no match at all. So, as long as I kill you, I won't be afraid anymore. Aranillo's body gradually changed. Half of his body suddenly split open, and the wounds healed quickly, forming two bodies, two heads, and two faces. One was frightened, and the other fearless. The power of the evil god in his body has almost turned into substance, forming a huge shadow behind Aranillo. A filthy and evil aura is exuding. The power of the evil god. Fangya somewhat understood. Just now, Aranillo was mentally unstable and tended to have a split personality. It seemed to be the influence of the evil god. Haha, Fang Ye, do you still think you can defeat me now? Let me tell you. Everyone who obtains the power of the evil god will get a talent, and mine is absorption. Araniolo said calmly with his fearless face. Yes, as long as you attack me, I can absorb it and strengthen myself. Aranillo said with a horrified face. The stronger you are, the stronger I am, and you have already lost. Fang Ye looked at the weird Aranillo and sneered. Are you really arrogant, thinking that with the power of the evil god, you can defeat me? What a frog in the well. As he said that, a ball of flame burst out from Fang Ye's body. The flame turned into a giant snake, coiled around Fang Ye's body, emitting a blazing light. Go! Ouch! Fang Ye shouted softly, and saw the snake. The giant python roared and rushed towards Araniolo. Rumble! The giant python and Araniolo collided, and there was a loud bang, and the ground also trembled. But the loud noise only lasted for a moment. Immediately afterwards, the giant python disappeared, and Araniro's figure appeared on the spot. His face was pale, and he spit out a mouthful of blood. He was obviously severely injured. How is it possible? I have obviously obtained the power of the evil god, but I still can't compete. Aranillo looked at Fang Ye and said in shock, are you already so strong? Do you know this? Fang Ye sneered and rushed towards Aranillo again. Boom! The huge flame dragon was tumbling in mid-air, and Fang Ye rushed towards Aranillo together, intertwining in mid-air. Fang Ye's strength is indeed stronger than by Aranillo. After all, Fang Ye has now deconstructed the power of the god of death, and he has integrated his own fire power. It can be said that his fire power has now reached a very exaggerated level. Even Aranillo, who possesses the power of the evil god, may be his opponent. Just when Fang Ye was about to give Aranillo the final blow, Yami stood in front of Fang Ye. You look delicious, and I'm hungry. His eyes were red, his mouth was wide open, and saliva was secreted and dripped on the ground. Huge meat bags bulged on his huge body, and then split open to reveal rows of teeth. It looked very strange. Only those a black light erupted from the strange mouth and rushed towards Fang Ye. What is this? Fang Ye was taken aback and hurriedly turned aside. He saw the black light hitting the ground, instantly corroding the ground into a large hole with no bottom visible. Haha, this is Yami's talent, corrosion. As long as the black light in his mouth hits, no matter what object it is, it will be instantly corroded. Although you are very strong, you are probably no match for Yami now. Araniolo, who had recovered slowly, struggled to stand up, with a proud smile on his two faces. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dimensional Chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mungbean Garden. Chapter 399. Fang Ye frowned and looked at Yami, who was now very strange. It was obvious to him that Yami had almost lost his mind and fell into a violent state. I saw the weird huge eyeballs on his body suddenly shooting black light towards Fang Ye, but Fang Ye dodged them one by one. Fang Ye then waved his hand, and saw a long flame whip hitting Yami hard. The blazing temperature almost made the entire space extremely hot, and it seemed that the ground was beginning to melt. Araniro snorted coldly, and used his soul-killing sword to block Fang Ye's fire ability. Haha, now that Yami and I have joined forces, do you still think you have a chance of winning? He roared, and danced the soul-cutting sword in his hand, hitting Fang Ye with a harsh wind. His soul-cutting sword made sharp sound of breaking through the air at an extremely fast speed. Like a bolt of lightning, struck directly at Fang Ye. At this time, Yami also used his huge eyeballs to form countless black light spots in the air, and then attacked Fang Ye quickly. In these black light spots under the attack, even the space began to distort. When Fang Ye saw this, a look of solemnity appeared on his face. These two monsters looked weird and terrifying now. They were worthy of the 10 blades. Unexpectedly, they could fuse the power of the evil god. Very good. Fang Ye thought. Humph, in that case, let you see how powerful I am. Fang Ye snorted coldly in his heart. He clenched his fists with both hands and attacked Yami with all his strength. At the same time, a wave of huge momentum spurted out from his body. Break it! I heard Fang Ye roar, and saw him punch out, hitting Yami's huge body. There was a crisp click, and Yami's body exploded instantly. A big hole was punched through his chest, and blood kept dripping on the ground. Ah! Yami screamed in the sky, and saw countless tiny black insects appearing in the huge wounds on his body. Was twisting wildly, trying to repair the wound. In less than 10 seconds, he had completely recovered. Haha, we have the power of evil gods. Even if we are seriously injured, we can heal instantly. It doesn't matter how strong you are. Araniello laughed and said. But before he finished laughing, Fang Ye's fist arrived. The punch came to him almost instantly. He was shocked, and he only felt that the fist contained its terrifying power seemed to be able to destroy everything. At this moment, his body had already reacted, and he used his most powerful power at the critical moment, using his soul-cutting knife to resist Fang Ye's fierce attack. One punch. But as soon as his soul-cutting sword collided with Fang Ye's fist, it immediately exploded and turned into fragments scattered. At this moment, he felt as if all the bones in his body were shattered. The pain was unbearable. Immediately afterwards, he felt that he was knocked back 10 steps by Fang Ye's punch, and a mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth. He felt that his vitality was disappearing rapidly. Even if he had the power of the evil god, he would not be able to bear it. Nothing can be done. Why, how so? Why can't my evil god's power heal me? Aranillo's face was filled with disbelief. Before he could continue to say anything, his whole body began to gradually disintegrate. Haha, my punch just now destroyed your vitality, and your evil god's power can't save you. Fang Ye said lightly. I. Before he could finish his words, Aranillo was completely dead. He never knew how perverted Fang Ye was with Saitama's physique. In that punch just now, Fang Ye didn't even exert 70% of his strength. Aranillo's death stimulated Yami and gradually calmed him down. There was a hint of fear in Yami's eyes, and his body even trembled slightly. This was an instinctive reflection of his body being in danger. The person in front of me is very dangerous. It's not what the Red Bishop said, we can easily defeat it. He lied to us. Yami knew it in his heart. But now that the matter has come to this, it is useless to say anything. We can only fight. The blood in Yami's eyes became more and more intense, and the muscles on his body began to bulge. Even his hair began to shake crazily, and the black light spots around him gathered more and more, seeming to cover the entire space. Yami's strength was finally fully revealed. At this moment, Fang Ye seemed to feel a strong sense of danger. My power has reached its peak. Let's see who dares to stop me. Yami shouted loudly, and the aura on his body increased again. At this time, the serial number 10 on his body has turned into serial number 0. At this moment, he is the 0th among the 10 blades. This terrifying sense of oppression even exceeds all the dangers Fang Ye has ever encountered. As your strength increases, my strength will continue to increase. I will let you see how terrifying I really am. Fang Ye also snorted coldly. At this moment, Fang Ye's whole body's aura exploded many times again, even more terrifying than before. At this moment, Fang Ye's momentum has reached its peak, completely surpassing Yami. How come your strength is so strong? Yami's eyes widened. He had no idea that Fang Ye's power had increased to such an extent in such a short period of time. A trace of fear flashed in his pupils. Haha, do you think I am still like you losers, only relying on the power of evil gods given by others to fight? Fan Ye's tone was very calm, the corners of his mouth were slightly raised, and a sarcastic smile appeared on his face. At this moment, he looked down at the enemy at his feet like a god. You, who are you? What is your power? He asked with trembling teeth. Fan Ye looked at this Yami, and his heart was full of boredom. He didn't want to talk too much with this kind of person, so he was going to kill him directly. Just give up. With my power, you are not even qualified to escape. Fan Ye's tone was filled with infinite domineering power. Don't even think about it. Yami roared loudly, and his whole body swelled up again. Beside him, giant snakes were squirming one after another. Yami's body swelled up again, and the black armor on his body became stronger. On his head, there were even two ferocious heads. He was holding a black soul-killing knife. Look. It was very scary to go up there. Fan Ye's face suddenly darkened when he saw that the tooth had grown bigger again. My power is even stronger than before. Do you think you can compete with me with your evil power? Fan Ye said disdainfully. Dimensional chosen, only I know Saitama is the strongest. Author, Mung Garden. Chapter 400. I don't believe it, I am the strongest. Yami's eyes were full of madness, and his original reason was once again overwhelmed by Fan Ye's powerful strength. Now he has been controlled by the power of the evil god and has completely fallen into madness. The black soul-killing knife in Yami's hand swung down violently. The black air waves on his body rolled and spread to the surroundings. His attack speed was extremely fast, and he came to Fan Ye's side in the blink of an eye. The soul-cutting knife in his hand, wrapped in the black air waves, it was as if it was shrouded in a black mist, exuding extremely strong murderous intent. This sword was 100 times more powerful than before. When Fan Ye saw the other party's sword, a mocking smile appeared on his face, and then he stretched out his right hand. An unparalleled power burst out from his palm. At this moment, the world seemed to be quiet. The black soul-cutting sword's blade was less than 3 feet away from Fan Ye. He stopped at the spot and could no longer move forward. This scene looked very funny. What? Yami was shocked. He never expected that his knife could not cause any harm to Fan Ye. How could it be possible? How is it possible? Yami screamed in horror. This is my power. Even if your power increases, I can still defeat you easily. A look of arrogance appeared on Fan Ye's face. This is my full blow. How can it be? Huh, after seeing my power, you are proud enough. Fan Ye sneered and launched a serious punch. The aura that destroyed the world burst out at this moment, as if the whole world was defeated by this terrifying punch. Kaka. That huge one, the soul-cutting knife, was instantly shattered by this terrifying punch, and then an extremely bright flame instantly turned the soul-cutting knife into nothingness. The black flame directly burned Yami's body, and instantly destroyed Yami's body. It was devoured completely, leaving only an extremely shriveled corpse. Yami died like this. Looking at the two corpses of Yaroniro and Yami, Fan Ye shook his head slightly. Although they were endowed with great power, the power of the evil god, but after all, he is no match for him. Now I am afraid that he has reached a situation that he does not even know. The next step is to continue to Sui Palace. Fan Ye licked his lips and continued walking up. In front of him was a huge palace with countless huge pillars supporting the sky. But in the center of the palace, there was a person standing. This person was Ulchio. Pull. The fourth blade among the 10 blades symbolizes nothingness. I saw him sitting quietly on the steps of the palace, waiting for Fan Ye. I knew those two idiots Aranillo and Yami couldn't stop you. Your strength really surprised me. Fan Ye chuckled, looked around, and then said calmly, I thought there would be 3 or 4 10 blades here to stop me, but I didn't expect you were the only one. Where are they? Ulquiorra slowly raised his head and said expressionlessly, swallowed by me. Swallowed? Fang Ye was a little surprised. He looked at Ulquiorra carefully and couldn't help but frown. He felt that Ulquiorra was in a very strange state, as if he were a mortal, without any trace of spiritual power, not even the power of the evil god. But Fang Ye knew very well that the current Ulquiorra was very powerful, even as powerful as himself. But Fang Ye also discovered that Ulquiorra had there is a bit of incongruity. Fang Ye hasn't figured out what it is for a while. They gave me a drop of the evil god's blood. Ulquiorra stood up. He looked at Fang Ye expressionlessly and said, "You are very strong. I tried all kinds of methods to catch up with you. Of course, this state lasted only a short time. I'm afraid it's only about 5 minutes. Did you trade your lifespan for strength?" Fang Ye frowned. "Yes, since the last time I saw you and Aizen fighting, I know that I will never be able to catch up with you in practice in this life, so I can only use this method," Ulquiorra said calmly. "Is it worth it?" Fang Ye couldn't help but ask. "I just want to fight you on an equal footing, no matter what the cost." Ulquiorra slowly raised his hand, and the soul-killing knife instantly appeared in his hand. "I don't have much time, let's do it as soon as possible." After saying that, Ulquiorra gently swung down the soul-cutting sword in his hand. Fang Ye felt that the whole world dimmed. A terrifying sword light instantly slashed towards him. Fang Ye saw this after the sword flashed, he couldn't help but shrink his pupils. The power of this sword flash was countless times more powerful than the evil god's power exerted by Yami, and it was not even weaker than the punch he just punched. This guy's evil god's power was already completely integrated, and also absorbed the power of other gods of death. This is simply an unreasonably strong person. Fang Ye thought secretly in his heart. At this moment, Fang Ye did not hesitate at all, and directly use all your strength. Break it. Fang Ye directly used his most powerful move, a serious punch. Fang Ye's punch directly hit the terrifying light of the soul-slaying sword. Boom! This punch, the sword and the light collided together, and there was an extremely violent roar. Fang Ye's punch directly blew away the soul-cutting sword's light. The powerful shockwave made Ulquiorra he couldn't help but take a step back, but his eyes exuded a strong fighting spirit. "Good. You are indeed very strong. Then take another move from me." After saying that, Ulquiorra raised the soul-cutting sword in his hand again. This time, the soul-cutting sword flashed with black and red brilliance, looking even more fierce and weird. Black Void Flash. Along with Ulquiorra's low shout, the black-red brilliance on the soul-killing knife once again burst out into a dazzling light. Fang Ye didn't dare to be careless and directly used all his strength to prepare for the attack of the soul-cutting knife. The two collided together, and a deafening roar suddenly erupted. Waves of tyrannical power spread to all directions. Fang Ye looked at Ulquiorra in front of him and couldn't help but narrow his eyes. Ulquiorra is indeed very strong now and is already an opponent worthy of taking him seriously. It seems that you are now stronger than Aizen, which is really amazing. Fang Ye said solemnly. "No, Aizen is stronger than me now. I'm afraid he has already fused the evil god's blood and Bengyoku together." "Fusion? What on earth are you doing? What's the conspiracy?" Fang Ye said with a frown. "I'm not very clear, I just want to have a serious fight with you. I only know that they are holding a summoning ceremony, but I don't know who they are summoning." "Call." Fang Ye was a little surprised, and instantly he had a bad premonition. Where is Kurosaki Ichigo? Where is he? He is the vessel of summons, right there on the throne. Ulquiorra said calmly.